Hi there. You found Queen V Crafts, my channel all about my crafting life. My name is Eve, my pronouns are she, her, and today is the 2nd of February. Happy Groundhog Day, 2025, and this is Flosstube episode number 20. It's been a minute, so welcome to 2025, my first regular update of the year. I did post a whip parade last week, I think, or the week before, which took a while because I don't know if you can tell, I am in a new location. Me and my husband did move to Texas at the end of 2024, and so we're settling in and, figuring out how to set up things, and I think I finally got my craft room to a spot that I like enough that I can start filming. So here we are today. I have a lot to chat about because this is encompassing before Christmas to now. So I have like a month and a half's work of things to show you. So without further ado, I have a finished object, I have some new starts, and I have quite a few whips. So we'll go over all those, and then at the end I will show some acquisitions, not everything, but some of the things that I've purchased, and yeah, then we'll talk about plans for the rest of this month. So let's get into it. My finish. I guess I should probably grab my board to hold these up, so give me 1 second. Alright, so my finish is the Summer Bird by Heart and Hand Needleart. I am doing all of these seasonal birds in their, well, I started them in their respective seasons, but they've been lingering for how small they are. So I made it a goal this year. I made a list of 12 projects, and I'm going to finish one of those projects each month. So there is Summer Bird. It looks so good. I am very happy with how it turned out. That B button is so cute. So this one I stitched on 36 count platinum, which is a Zweigart fabric, with 1 strand over 2, and I think this one I did mostly a conversion. Let me pull out my notes really quick. Because I'm sitting in a chair and I usually sit on the floor, I'm leaning down a lot farther than I used to, so bear with me. Alright, so looks like I'm using the called for, except I did sub weeks brick for Classic Colorworks Red Currant. So that was the only change that I made. It's a very limited palette. So there is Summer Bird. Alrighty. First one down. Also, I'm pretty sniffly, and I don't know if that's allergies or if that's adjusting to the Texas air, but I've noticed over the last like 2 weeks that I've had a weird cough and stuffy nose. So I'll try to pause if I need to blow my nose or anything, but I apologize for the sniffles. All right, let's talk some new starts. So I I'm really trying to limit my starts for this year. Before I do that, really quick, Summerbird, I started June 20th, 2024, and I finished that on January 4th, 2025. Okay, new starts. Like I said, trying to limit my starts for this year, which is really hard because there are a lot of good new things that have come out that I really want to stitch. I do have some plans, like planned starts throughout the year. One of these was a planned start. One of these was totally impromptu, and the other is a restart. And one is part of my round robin, so like in a bigger project whip, so each little piece I'm counting as a start. But anyways, first up is Ocean View. This one is by Buena Pieza. I started this one on January 1st, and there is my start. This is 40 count Blue Ridge from Atomic Ranch, and I'm stitching 1/2 with the called for DMC. It's so cute and little. I love the seagulls. So cute. I am kind of annoyed with myself. I probably could have had more done. But for some reason, I started this project vertically over here on this fat quarter. Not really thinking or doing the measuring that it would fit. It's only this wide. So I'm gonna have more than 1/8 left of this fabric. That's one of the reasons why I'm really loving 40 count recently, is I can make stitches a lot smaller and still be able to use leftover fabric. I actually think that 40 count is my new favorite. So we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a bit. All right. My next start is part of that round robin, like I mentioned. This is Rosetta from Ink Circles, and we're sending our pieces around to each other. There's 12 of us in the group, and there's 12 blocks on this piece, so we're each stitching a block. This is Sarah from Millennial Fabrics. This is her project, and everyone who's stitched on this so far has picked a different silk color. So I was like, I want to keep with the theme, and we'll do silks. So I've never worked with silks before. I know, shocker, but I am a convert. I can see why they are so popular. I went to 3 Stitches, which is now my local needlework store, and I brought my project and I said, help, I want to do this in silks. What looks good? So the lovely ladies there helped me pick out a Gloriana silk, and it's the color Wood Pond, and it's this beautiful blue, green, and like dusty purple variegated floss. So this is Rosetta. Still in the QSAP because I am almost done. I just have this center bit left to do. So I will be finishing this today because I need to ship it out tomorrow, actually, on Monday. But I love how subtle, when it's stitched, the variation is on this floss. It's definitely my new favorite. Like, it's so pretty. So I will be, since I will have plenty of floss left, trying to find a monochromatic piece of some sort to stitch. Doesn't have to be big. I just want something of my own in this floss color. So there is Rosetta. All right. My next start is the impromptu one. I mentioned back the end of December, I joined the Artsy Housewives Patreon. I don't know why words are hard today. I joined because of the pattern Bessie Boo, that cow in the like wintry colors, the Christmassy colors. But I didn't start it last year, which is surprising to me because of how much I said I loved it. But the January releases, I was stunned, absolutely floored by this piece, which is called Cabin in the Woods. I was like, I have to start it. So literally that day, January 15th, I was like, we're kitting it up with Stash, and we're gonna stitch it. So I pulled out a piece of, oh gosh, what is this fabric? I haven't put a card in here yet. Doesn't even look like it. 40 count Sparrow from Millennial Fabrics, and I pulled the DMC and picked out fancy flosses that went well with those colors, and I did my own conversion to fancy flosses. So here is Cabin in the Woods, and this fabric is blowing out color-wise. It's definitely like that's more true to color, but you can't really see on camera the yellows and teals unless I bring you in closer. So if you are interested, I am going to start posting my color conversions for pieces. I don't do a lot of like what Cam the Stitcher does, like full, like total changes to the color palette. I do try to stick kind of true to the originals. I will say that this piece originally, like these two colors were definitely more green, charted to be more green, and I wanted the more like oceany blue teal color and the green to go along there. So I swapped those out, but this is the color palette that I came up with for Cabin in the Woods. So I worked on this probably like 2 days straight and just nothing else. I love this so much. I am thinking this one I'm going to try and finish before the end of the year, but we'll see. So that's Cabin in the Woods. And then my last start is actually a restart. I had originally started Stitchy tier on a fabric that I could not see the white. And if you know the tiers by Erin Elizabeth Designs, white is kind of important to be able to see because that's what comprises the tier. So I stopped and was like, I don't know what color fabric I want to do this on. So it just kind of sat until I was looking through my fabric bin for Cabin in the Woods. And I was like, I've got this 16 count Aida from Fiber Whim that I think I want to try and use for things because I don't typically stitch on 16 count anymore. So I want to try and use it up for things. And this piece just works perfectly on it. So it's stitched on 16 count Cocoa from Fiber Whim. And here is the progress I've made so far. I restarted this one on January 23rd, and I really like how this looks. Like, I think 16 count with 2 strands is my preferred. Like, I think 14 is too sparse. And I'm in this weird limbo state of feeling like 18 count with 1 strand is not enough coverage. And most of my 18 count whips are 1 strand. And when I pull them out, I'm like, I want this to be 2 strands. But 20 and 40 count 1 strand is awesome. I love that. So, Stitchy tier. We'll see what kind of progress I make this year. And that one's just with the Called for DMC. I don't think I mentioned that Cabin in the Woods is a mix of gentle art and classic colorworks. And again, if you want that conversion, let me know or follow me on Instagram. I'll post it in my stories. All right, whips, works in progress. I have a lot of these to show you. First of which being Robin's Spring. This one was here the last time that I showed it to y'all. And it is here now. This one is on 14 count. It's a Charles Craft Fiddler's Cloth with the Called for DMC, and I really love working on this. It's a lot of fun. I will say that 14 count with 2 strands, like, it looks good. It's a little sparse, but for the most part it looks really good. So I'm gonna continue working on this one, and we'll see where I get to this year. Okay. Next I have Sunflower Symphony by Carolyn. It was here the last time that I showed it to y'all, and it is here now. So I have done, okay, just unfold, that's fine. I've done more work in this motif. My goal for this year is to at least get this motif done. Maybe even one more. We'll see. I have another start on another one. Most likely we'll only pull this one out in May though, for Manning May. So I usually don't mark down like in my little notebook when I work on things, but I know that like for some reason this is one that I wanted to pull out right after Christmas. I don't know why. Same thing with Robin Spring. As well as this next one, which is Scissor Sampler by Tellin Emblem. I said it without fumbling this time. Usually I have such a hard time saying Tellin Emblem. Alright, so here's where I was the last time that I showed this. And maybe we'll try and move some of these threads. I didn't even clip my pin stitches. Oh well. There is where I am now. This one is a lot of fun to work on. It is on an R&R Reproductions fabric by the name of Winter Brew, 36 count. And I subbed the Weeks Dye Works out for Gentle Art, Classic Colorworks, and the DMC conversion. So I will also, I think, post that on my Instagram as well. So there is Scissor Sampler. I need to remember to trim my pin stitch, like threads, because this is the second time that I've showed this now that has had those hanging. So I need to fix that. Alright, so those were all the ones that I worked on after my last video while still in 2024. These are my whips for 2025. First is Cosmic Lover. This was my first January Whip Go call. I am participating in Whip Go this year. This way. So here is where it was the last time that I showed it, and where it is now. It's looking really great so far, and I love it. So there is Cosmic Lover. This was, I don't think I said, a kit from Gecko Rouge when Medusa Dollmaker was still an artist with them. So this is the kit, 28 count, easy grid Lugana, and I'm using the kit floss to do this one. So, Cosmic Lover. The next call that I had on Whip Go is the Deadly Aquarium from Lola Crow Cross Stitch. I'm gonna just hold this one up. So here's where it was before and where it is now. I have a very needy cat outside. So For WhipGo, I worked on the, I don't remember if it's an alligator or crocodile section. It's totally done. This is one of my pieces that it's 18 count, and I wish I had done 2 strands, because like especially in the black, it's a little bit sparse. Back here it looks okay, so we're just gonna roll with it. This fabric is 18 count Tangled Up in Blue from StitchMe and Artsy, and our neighbor has a dog, and my dog is outside currently, and she is having a great time. So yeah, Tangled Up in Blue, 18 count from StitchMe and Artsy. Call for DMC with 1 strand over 1. Wishing it was 2, but I'm too far to make any changes, so we roll with it. All right, next up I have, maybe if I can find it in the bag. All right, so Believe by the Trilogy and Heart in Hand Needleart's Christmas Bird are next. I am doing these one on the same piece of fabric, so I will show you Believe first. I think I showed these to y'all in my last video. So here's where it was before and where it is now. This is 40 count creme brulee, I think, from R&R, and Christmas Bird, where it was before and where it is now. And I'm really loving how these are coming along. This is another one that I did a color conversion on. I wanted to make sure that, or I wanted to make both of these pieces use the same flosses. So I kitted these up at Dying to Stitch when we were still in Virginia Beach. I pulled all of the called for colors for both charts and made some substitutions so that they would each use the same flosses. So there's that one. All right, and then the next 2 probably don't have a ton of progress because I pulled them out after I had finished my WhipGo goals, and I was like, I don't know what I want to work on. So I was trying to find something that I hadn't touched for a while and that needed to get done this year, really. So I pulled out first Enchanted Realms. This is a stitch along, or was a stitch along, I should say, hosted by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Here's where it was the last time that I showed it, and here it is now. I am so close to being done. It's ridiculous. I said in my whip parade that I was like, I wish this was with 2 strands. Maybe I'll restart it. But it's so close to done at this point, and like, it looks fine. I just know that if I do anything again on like not a hand-dyed 18 count, I will be using 2 strands. So here is Enchanted Realms. This is on 18 count, very light pewter, which is a Witchelt fabric. I know a lot of people gripe about Witchelt fabrics. Their linen is terrible. Do not recommend. But their Aida is really awesome. I don't know if it's the same, like similar same base as Weigart. I guess it isn't because they're 2 different companies. And usually it was Weigart or Witchelt or the suppliers of fabric to like hand dyers. I don't know. Hey Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe, you want to do some research to the differences between those 2 different fabric manufacturers? Alright, enough of Enchanted Realms. We're already at 30 minutes and I'm like halfway through what I need to talk about with you, so moving right along. Next up is Busy Bees by Durene Jones from one of the Just Cross Stitch magazines. I have very minimal stitching done on this one and would like to either get it finished or move it towards a finish this year. I was here the last time that I showed this to y'all, and I am here now. Like I said, I was kind of struggling to figure out what I wanted to stitch on, so I really think I only put in like maybe 30 stitches in the center here and was like, okay, I did something on there, we're gonna put it away and move on. So that is Busy Bees, and this one is being stitched on 36 count platinum 1/2 with the Call for DMC. Right. Then, January, we had the 24 hours of cross stitch marathon over Martin Luther King weekend. And I do usually like to try and get at least like 12 hours because I do like participating in the 24 hours of cross stitch. But for whatever reason, I did 2 hours and said, I need to not cross stitch right now. I need to go do something else because my brain isn't working. So I stopped stitching after 2 hours, which I wish I hadn't, because I probably would have made much more progress on the piece that I typically pull out for 24 hours of cross stitch, which is PokeAll by Lord Libidan. I was here the last time that I showed this to y'all, and I am here now. So I know for a fact that I worked on, is that wheezing at the top? So much fabric. This piece is going to be huge. Yeah, so I worked in wheezing. I added all that purple. So there is PokeAll. I'll show you, since I have it all nicely folded, again, what it looks like in full. Looks so good so far. I am very happy with how this is turning out. And it's on another Witchell fabric, 18 count. Like, it's very nice, Ada. This one's just light blue. And I'm using one strand of the called for DMC. All right. Last whip. This one, I am really trying to finish by May this year, so I have added a significant amount to We Remember by Plum Street Samplers. I started this one on Veterans Day, and I'm hoping to finish it by Memorial Day. So, here's where it was the last time that I showed it to y'all. And where it is now. It is looking so good so far. This one is done on 40 count espresso from R&R using the called for DMC, and I subbed the Fancy Floss out for Gentle Art and Classic Colorworks. So this will again be one that I put up on my story of things that I converted. I think that those poppies look really good. I am very happy with how that cat turned out. I was convinced that you weren't going to be able to see him on this fabric, but on camera he looks fantastic. I need to just do his backstitch whiskers, which I really hate backstitch, so we'll see when I add those, whether it's before or after I finish the piece. And yeah, there's We Remember. Alrighty. That's all of my stitching. Let's talk plans for February. I need to move this book. Oh, that's perfect. So I have decided that I want to start keeping like a challenges journal, because I do like participating in WhipGo. Now that I have enough whips to work on, I am enjoying that. Marjorie Maid hosts another prompt-based whip game called Pick a Whip. And for January, let me talk January really quick. So back to WhipGo. Cosmic Lover was my number 11 call. I am trying to do 500 stitches at least on each piece, but I think I want to change it for February. I think I want to work on it for 5 days and get at least 500 stitches, but whatever number I get to in 5 days is what I'll count for, but at least 500 stitches, which I can usually do if I have a good stitching day. Like, that's 5 hours worth of stitching. So Second whip go for January was number 20, which was Deadly Aquarium. I did 642 stitches. That one, I was gonna stop at 500, but I was like only 142 stitches away from finishing that section, that release section with the crocodile or the alligator, so I just went and finished it. So then pick a whip. I only wrote down one of the 2 prompts. So Marjorie is doing this differently this year. For each month, the beginning of the month, she's posting 2 prompts. You could do one the first half of the year, or one the first half of the month, excuse me, and one the second half. Pick one or the other. So one of the prompts was start the year with a finish, and I did that. Summer Bird was finished within the first week of the year. So the only other game that I'm playing now, I'm hoping to participate in the Crafts and Books acrostic. We'll see whether that happens this month or sometime other this year. But I play I Spy, which is hosted by Laura, Stitching by the Shore. Each month she posts 10 prompts, and you have to find those prompts somehow within your projects. So I pulled out Christmas Bird for related to winter. A new start or your newest start, Cabin in the Woods is going to count for that one. Number 3 is Something Blue. I'm using Deadly Aquarium to count for that one because it's on that beautiful blue fabric. Something I want to finish in 2025, Believe by the Trilogy. Something Regal. I'm using Cosmic Lover to count for this one because she just feels like very queenly, very like majestic, and I just think it fits that prompt. Something with the letter J. I pulled out Scissor Sampler for this one because it has an alphabet on it, and I think I've already stitched the letter J, so perfect. Number 7 is an animal with a coat. I chose We Remember for this one because I stitched that whole cat. Number 8 is a new to you designer. I didn't stitch anything in January that was a new to me designer. I guess maybe I could count Cabin in the Woods because that's my first Artsy Housewife start. I have a lot of her patterns and lots of hopes and dreams to do them all, but I haven't actually stitched on any of them yet until I started Cabin in the Woods, so maybe that counts. Something that I hope to finish in 2025, Busy Bees. It's so small, there's no reason that it should take me, April is when I started that one last year, so it's almost a year old. It's so small, why is it almost a year old? And then number 10 is opposites. So Laura had given the example of like fire and ice, or rain and sun, good and evil, like either stitching on 2 pieces that fulfilled that prompt, or one piece that had opposites within it. I don't have anything that I would consider that, plus I didn't really want to add 2 additional whips to my pile, so I skipped that one for January. February plans. Whipco has been called number 7 and number 8. For me, number 7 is A Smooth Sea by Emma Condon. And this is what I have so far. This fabric is 36 count Gray Magic from BeStitchMe. I'm using the called for DMC 1/2. So that one will get at least 500 stitches this month. Number 8 is Serena Sprout. This one is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And here's that one. I guess I can fold it and it's fine. There's Serena Sprout. The fabric is 36 count Peridot. I'm going to say it both ways, even though I'm pretty sure it's Peridot. By Fiber and Whim. And I'm using 2 strands over 2 on this one because I like how bold that looks. So she will also get at least 500 stitches. Pick-a-Whip calls for February are something winter themed and something with hearts, birds, or flowers. So I think I don't have a good winter project that I want to pull out right now. I'll have to look through. I might do that one, but I definitely will be starting a project that has hearts, and I think it has flowers too. It's Follow Your Heart by Silver Creek Samplers. I'll put up the picture here. I guess I can kind of do a little bit of haul in relation to that plan. So it's got the little hearts. I went 2-3 stitches and I kitted this one. Where is the rest of my floss? This bag is not that deep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I'm going to do Follow Your Heart on, like, this called for is Time Goes By Seraphim, which is kind of like just a neutral, kind of with a green undertone. I'm doing it on Truffle. And wow, that's crazy. I've seen people talk about Truffle before and how it really does not show up on camera at all. This looks brown. This fabric is pink. Like, believe me when I tell you that, like, what? Why does it not show up? It looks brown here. It's pink in real life. So this is a 32 count Truffle, and I am going to use, I switched out some of the DMCs so that they would look better on this fabric, and I'm struggling. So there are the DMCs I'm going to use, and again, this fabric is pink, so it does not look in real life And then for the fancy floss, I picked out Gentle Art Witching Hour. And I'm very excited to get this one stitched up. It shouldn't take long. It's 80 by 80. And 32 count is easier to see. So hypothetically, this should not take me very long to do, she says, with 40 something very small whips or 30 something very small whips, a lot of big ones. But there is follow your heart. Alright, so that's Pick a Whip. I'm gonna read off the I Spy prompts. I usually use these to, like, as a jumping off point. Like, I finish Whip Go, what do I want to stitch on next? Number 1 is something pink. Number 2 is reminds you of a loved one. Number 3 is the letter F. Number 4 is something sweet. 5 is your smallest project. 6 is something with rain, clouds, or an umbrella. 7 is something that has a repeating pattern. 8, something that comes up from the ground. 9, a really fast stitch. And 10, the colors of the team in the Super Bowl. I'm taking this as that you're rooting for. I could care less about either of the teams. Like, if the Chiefs win another Super Bowl, cool. If the Eagles win, equally as cool. I think I'm rooting for the Eagles because I am East Coast at heart. If it couldn't be the Commanders, at least it'll be an East Coast team, hopefully. So I've decided that one I'd have picked out. I am going to stitch on No Time Like the Present by Modern Folk Embroidery. The colors that I chose are these like teals that are very close in color to the Eagles colors. So I will be stitching that on Super Bowl day while I watch the game. Hopefully, we'll see. Other plans. It's Fancy Lady February. So I am planning on doing, I think, at least 500 stitches on both of my Fancy Ladies. The first that I have to show you is Morning Glory by Nora Corbett. So here is my starting place on Morning Glory. This is a 28 count Haze by Atomic Ranch. I'm using her Called for DMC 2/2. My other Fancy Lady is in this fancy project bag that Kat from Whittier Stitches made for me. Because this is Candy, who was charted by Whittier Stitches. The art is by Erin Culpepper. I would like to get some more work on her this month. So there's Candy. She is so pretty. We're getting close. I mean, I think as soon as I finish the moon, she's like halfway done. I'll have to check my stats, but I think there's a good chance that I finish her this year. And actually that's the hope, because I started her December 2023. So I really should have had her done by December, but that didn't happen, so we're shooting for a finish this year sometime before December. All right, that's all of the Stitchy plans, things that I have to show you that way. I am going to talk acquisitions now, so if that's not your favorite, you're welcome to dip. I appreciate you being here. And for everyone who wants to see the things that I've bought, stick around. So I guess the first thing that I have to show you wasn't something I bought. This was something that I got for Christmas. I was gifted Max Pigeon's book, Cross Stitch in the Forest, and this is so fun. The patterns in this book are stunning. Like, I'm sure that you have seen some of these before. Trying to find the Blue Jay one that is going to be first for me to stitch. There it is. Like, how beautiful is that? So I am looking forward to stitching some of the things out of this book, and yeah, so that was a great Christmas gift. The next thing that I got as a Christmas gift, I can't even hold up for you because it's heavy and it's right there, is a Lowry stand. My parents did gift me a Lowry stand for Christmas. I've been using it pretty much every day since we moved here, and I got it set up. I'm still getting used to, like, the height that I want it at, and like where it sits, whether it sits to the side of me or the front of me. I'm still getting used to it. I'm trying different things, seeing what feels best. I like to stitch, I don't know if you could tell, those Q-snaps are 8x11s. That's my favorite size. And I found that really the only way that the Lowry stand will hold a Q-snap without a Q-snap corner is if I put it in the top part of the Q-snap and have the Lowry in front of me. So that's what I'm doing right now. But we'll see if something changes along the line. All right. So things that have arrived in the mail. I've got Millennial Fabrics. This is the December 2024 come out fabric of the month. I get an 1/8 of 36 count. This is called Sugar Crystal. Oh, so good. I love Sarah's fabrics. They're always so fun. But I can never figure out how to fold them back up to get them back in the package. I need to remember to write on this one, December 2024. Pen go. All right, so fabric for December, threads for December, I get Gentle Art and Classic Colorworks. So here are those. So Classic Colorworks, we get Pine Needles, Wisconsin Woods, Queen Bee, Tyler Boy Blue, and Nutmeggy. And then for Gentle Art, we got Cranberry, Chives, Briar Rose, Apple Cider, and Evergreen. So there is December Millennial Fabrics. Then I got my floss pack from Thread the Needle Stitchery. This is a palette that Athena from Stitching Goddess Designs curates based off of a character. There is the character and the colors. I can't show you the colors because I've already put them away in my stash. So I usually don't do that, but I was organizing all my fancy floss right after that had arrived, and I was like, I'm just gonna put it away and talk about it when I film. Alright, so next part is BeStitchMe. She had a set of ready ships go up. They were more like blues and grays, and some neutrals. So I did buy 3 cuts of 40 count from her. I am going to crinkle bags, so be forewarned. Alright, so first up we have Morning Fog. And I got Tundra. Apologies for not taking these out of the plastic, but it was just easier to keep them all organized this way. And then one more reproduction, because I have very few neutrals in my stash, so been buying more neutrals. Okay. Then I ordered from 123 Stitch. I bought 3 cuts of 20 count Aida from Fiber on a Whim. These ones I bought specifically for the Fine Frog Stitching stitch-alongs. So I am planning on restarting Femurs and Fungi, and I will put it on this fabric because it is called for on a purple, and I do like this a lot. This is Plum, Fiber on a Whim. And then I bought Malachite for Plants and Petrichor. And lastly, this is for the new sale that starts mid-February, so we're coming close. This is Raspberry, and this one's for Court of Crows. Very excited. there are those all together. I'm going to need to figure out a better fabric storage solution because right now all my fabric is in one box together, and it's getting quite full. So I'm going to need to do some reorganization and figure something else out. Alright, next up is the ready to ship Valentine's from BeStitchMe. I went a little crazy. I bought 6 pieces of fabric. Oh, my stomach. I don't know if you just heard that. My stomach was growling. I guess we're getting close to the food time. 40 count from BeStitchMe in the beautiful Valentine's colors that she put up. So like I said, I bought 6 pieces. First one is blush. This one is very similar to truffle in the sense of this is much more pink, but it looks much more brown. And I am building my 40 count stash, so all of these are 40 counts. Next up is toe beans. Now, see why this one's pink? Why does this one show up pink? Sugar cream pie. Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe, I think, stitched her Pride on this color, and it looks so good, and I had to see it in person, so sugar cream pie. Then the next ones, I'm kind of regretting getting in 40 count because they're dark, but they're beautiful. This first one is Lilith. So good. Oh my gosh, I love that. Next up is Merlot. So good. And lastly, I have Cardinal. Beautiful. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Alright, and then I got my fabric of the month from BeStitchMe for January. And I did switch my fabric of the month club to the neutrals, just neutrals, because I need to build that up, and 40 count. So January's fabric of the month is honey. I could almost consider this a color. Like, this looks yellow in person. I guess it's more like goldenrod, but it's very pretty. I'm excited to stitch something on it. Yeah. My stomach. Please stop growling. Alright. I've got a little bit of Stitchy kindness. Well, Stitchy. Kat from Whittier Stitches came down from where she lives in Texas to where I live in Texas. It's like a 3-hour drive. So that we could go to a yarn store and she could teach me how to knit. So, I guess we're gonna transition a little bit into knitting because that's something I'm doing now. The kindness from Kat is that she bought me this really cute knitting project bag. I do have my some of my yarn and needles in here. She also bought me circular needle tip covers because my dog kept, for some reason, I would have my stuff put away and she would still get into it and pull my stuff off of my needles. And I'm not an experienced enough knitter to be able to fix the problem without having to restart. So after many tries, I have succeeded in getting started on a couple of different socks. So the first one is this just like gray mottled sock. I'm doing a 2x2 cuff, and this is just like the vanilla sock from Crazy Sock Lady. So I am currently stitching the leg of this one. So there is that. And this yarn, I mean, I probably shouldn't be using because I know it's not probably the best. It is, got it at Michael's. I just wanted to mess around with some sock yarn, get used to doing socks, even if I, it says that I could tumble dry these on Delicate, but we'll see. This is kind of more a test run. So I'm stitching more of this one first. I did cast on another sock. This is with the yarn that I bought with Kat at the Modern Skein, which is like 45 minutes from me, I think. Yeah. So here is my start on that sock. Don't have a ton, just working on the cuff, which looks really weird to me. I don't remember if I'm doing 2x2 or 1x1. It has to be 2x2. Yeah. Which I probably didn't need to cast on as many stitches since I'm doing the 2x2. But there is that, and this yarn is called Maple. It's from getting used to holding up a new craft. Maple from Suburban Stitcher. I did get a coordinating color to go with this one. So I'm going to do the maple for the cuff and leg, and then this one is called Nudie Patootie, and this is going to be my heel and toe. Now, question for knitters out there. Should I do this as the heel and toe, or should I do the body of the sock in this and do maple as the heel and toe and cuff? Let me know. I'm sure that that's something that Kat can show me how to do if I ask her. So, yarn away. I did get one more skein of yarn are they called skeins? Or are they called hanks? I have all these knitting questions and I am like, I'm just doing what Kat told me to. I need to do more research. Anyways, so I did get one more skein of yarn that they caked for me at the store. This one is from Ritual Dyes, and the color is iron. It's fingering weight 90-10 merino nylon, 100 grams. It's very similar to the other sock that I'm doing, but I feel like this one will hold up the test of time a little bit better, and I can try a different cuff style for this one. So there's all my yarn. And yeah, I think that's everything that I have to talk with you about today. This was a long one. Actually, looking at the time on here, it says 1 hour and 18, so I know I'm going to cut that down a bit, so maybe it wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be. I am going to try every 3 weeks for my videos. It's very possible that with schedule and starting to work and other things happening in my life that we'll end up doing once a month, at least for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I am really excited to get into goal stitching and plans and all that other fun stuff this year. And I will share that with you all in my next video. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, month, year, whenever you're watching this. And yeah, I'll talk to you next time. Until then, happy stitching. Just as surprised as you.